let's talk about the Isle of Man, because I don't know how many people that will be listening or viewing this are actually familiar with the TTZero or the originally TTXGP race. So kind of tell us a little bit, what's that involved? I assume, have you guys been over there? Have you seen the track? Sort of give us a sense of what it's like to race there on the Island of Man, which is, of course, in the Irish Sea between basically Wales and England and Ireland.
It's pretty incredible, and it's one of the most incredible few weeks I've had in my life. The Isle of Man is like few other races. It's got one of the longest histories in the history of motorcycling. It's a 100+ year legacy, and the course is unlike many other motorcycling courses. It's the surface roads around this island. So the 38-mile course goes through several towns, over the mountain that's on the island, and along both coasts, which makes it an immensely challenging course. There's no soft runoffs, there's no tire barriers, it's cobblestone walls and humpback hills, and a lot of other things that are not generally considered friendly to motorcycling.
Right.
So, the guys who ride this course are something else. I say, the part of our brain that feels fear and turns down the accelerator, those guys don't have it, Yeah. They're very cool under fire.
Yeah.
And so they are plowing through these streets at speeds well in excess of 100 miles an hour. Through the speed traps, the guys on the gas bikes get 190 miles an hour. It's pretty incredible, and I think the prestige of the race really reflects that.
So in the case of the TTZero race or GT race, is it just I assume it's just a single lap, or is that what it's based around? So you're going to do 38 miles as fast as you can possibly go around that course.
That's right. The format of the race is a time trial. So each rider started individually, maybe 15-20 seconds apart, and the placement is based on the time you take to get around, nothing else. So, okay. Of course, there's plenty of passes and interaction on the road, but last year there's only 10 bikes, so it's all about you versus the course.
Right, exactly. And speaking of it is a dangerous course. I think last year one of the riders that rode one of the e-bikes then subsequently got back on one of the gas bikes and crashed, and it cost him his life, if I remember correctly.
That's right. It was in one of the practice laps before the TT actually even began. Unfortunately, the TT in general is one of the most deadly courses in the world, the Snaefell Mountain course is. And it's being there, it's immediately obvious why that is. There's plenty of footage and stories about the kinds of things that happen, and racing there is risking your life. You take that very seriously.
Well, I think the event, the electric side of this event has been, thankfully, been a safe one, and let's hope it continues to be that way. All right, so we've talked about the drive system on this thing. How do you guys get funded? I mean, this is obviously your seniors. You've got college bills. This is expensive. Fielding and not only building the bike, but then getting it over there to compete and so on. So how do you guys get your funding?
So a lot of our funding comes through the university. So it comes through, like, for example, a Honda OSU partnership, and then additional funds that the College of Engineering makes available to us. And that kind of takes care of our overhead, and they provide us with a place to work, and a lot of those kind of fees and the costs associated with that. A lot of our other sponsorship, we have to go out and kind of get like a traditional race team would get. So we are kind of like a student organization here at Ohio State, but at the same time, we're offering sponsors the ability, the advertisement, the logos on the bike, and we're working through that kind of function. So, for example, we'll work with AAE, who was able to donate our battery pack to us, which is awesome. Provide them any information that they need, design considerations, research like that, while at the same time giving them the exposure over the Isle of Man. And then we also work with local partners who are just really excited to see this kind of thing happen. They're really passionate about having students like us be able to work on electric vehicle technology, learn the skills that we're going to need out in the industry, and really go and compete at this awesome international event. And of course, we're always greatly appreciated. It's like the coolest thing to me when people donate, because I just think it's really awesome that they believe in what we're doing and think it's worth our time and money.
Right. Excellent. So you guys are both seniors now. What are your personal aspirations when you graduate? Where do you want to end up? Where are you hoping to end up?
That's a tough one. I'm still up in the air a little bit, but I'm really trying to go in the operations end of the world. I really like doing the marketing aspect of my current role, and really just kind of like working with the product and being able to sell it to people, kind of thing. So I'm really looking into kind of management consulting and working for a tech company, kind of in a role similar to this, but long term down the road, I definitely want to come back to electric vehicles. I mean, it's been my driving passion since freshman year of high school. It's always been what I come back to. So hopefully one day I can get back and build electric motorcycles.
Right. What's the aspirations for the team per se, and how many people actually are on the team?
The team itself, we hope that it keeps going after we do. It's an interesting place that the student project teams are in, and that you have constant turnover. There's always people graduating, and there's always new people joining.
Right.
So part of our operations, and in fact part of our mission, is to continue educating the new students as they come in, building people to step into the leadership roles in the team, and letting them continue the design of the vehicles over the years. So as far as the team goes, we want to continue to be competitive on the international race circuit. We want to continue to develop advanced electric vehicles, and we want to keep winning races. That's where I'd love to see us be.
Yeah. You're obviously building a competitive bike. You've got other bikes that are showing up over there to race that are in production or aspiring to be in commercial production. Are there any sort of similar aspirations for the bike that you guys are building, that this could be taken and commercialized, or is it just simply the team project and will always sort of evolve with each succeeding class that comes in and if you will, re-engineers it?
So right now it's more along the path of we're a student organization and we're doing this for the research and development perspective of having students not only learn about the technology but also continue to develop and research it. Down the road, I think the skill set that we develop doing something like this, we could be able to come back together after a couple years in the industry and maybe begin to do something more commercialized, and I would love to do that personally. That'd be awesome to be able to work with the team again. But as it stands right now, we're not actually going for a commercial perspective. We're more in a research, academic development.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to ask you, and maybe I'll ask it right now, is that this is going to be the first year of the TT races over there where the electric bikes will have the option, as I understand it, to be able to actually, in one of the series, race against the gas bikes. Is that your understanding?
I haven't seen that in the rules. Okay. We were surprised when you said that. Certainly not in the Zero. The Zero will be all electric, right. And the other major classes, it's my understanding it will be all gas. There may be a race where the electrics are racing against the gas bikes that we're not aware of, but we're not planning to race in it.
Okay, all right. Well, I just wanted to see if you'd heard about whether, because I know there was a little bit of controversy. The impression was, I think, that it was going to be open in 2 of the series races, and then subsequently it's only going to be 1 of those races was going to be open to both bikes. So I was curious, as to what your thoughts were, how those e-bikes were going to do against the gas bikes, but we'll just have to wait and see.
I don't think it would be very competitive right now. The gas bikes are. The electric bikes are incredible, and the advancements that have been made are really far ahead of the advancements that were made in comparable years for the gas bikes. But in terms of the raw power of those gasoline engines, and people take for granted how energy dense gasoline is, and you can get a lot farther on a gallon of gasoline right now than the equivalent volume of batteries. Electric bikes have a lot of advantages, and I think they're going to keep coming up very quickly in the coming years. But as it stands today, our bike couldn't hold its own against the Superbike, and I don't know of any other manufacturer's vehicle who could. that's the state of things, unfortunately.
Yeah, down the road, I think that we can definitely, electric vehicle technology will catch up with them, especially as batteries become smaller and more energy dense, you can fit more on board. I think it's definitely feasible that we can be racing against them. I'm really excited for that day, and I know that someone brought up that there was almost, when you look at the TTZero and the average miles per hour lap speed, if you look at the progress over the last 4 years, the TTZero compared to the TT over similar development or reduction of the average lap time, it was like 40 years for gas bikes, where it's been 4 years for electric bikes. So
right.
Obviously, electric vehicle technology, it's accelerating. It's not going as fast right now. We're not at the same speed, but over time, I think the technology will get to the point where we can compete against them. And I'm really excited for like advantages such as no shifting and a lot of the torque that you get out of the engine. So I'm really excited to see that down the road.
Well, I guess when you're designing these, and I think you brought this up earlier, there's sort of a balance that you have to strive between speed, because we know you could, we've got the Lightning bike, Richard Hatchfield bike, that does over 200, but then that's over just a mile course. So you've got 38 miles of rugged mountain roads you got to cross. So obviously you have to balance how much speed that you allow the bike to have versus the amount of range that you need to have to complete the race.
That's true. When I describe the TT to people, I describe it like an endurance race, really. It's less about holding the throttle wide open the entire time and more about really figuring out, okay, how fast can I go right here to still cross the finish line, as if you are basically on a low tank of gas. It's true we can go quite a bit faster than we have shown in the races, and I think all the bikes probably can. That's one way that our simulation helps us. So we're able to have this simulated TT race that we can say, okay, well, let's say that we limit our top speed right here. What will our lap time be, and will we have any juice left when we get across the finish line?
Right.
And so we can keep on iterating that way. We have fortunately, we have the ability to modify almost any aspect of the performance of our bike on the fly in software. So we can say, okay, you know what, at this portion, our top speed is this, and then the bike will actually maintain a profile over the course of the race that keeps enough energy in the tank to get us across the finish line.
So what's the role of the driver? Just keep it going straight and on the road?
He has a lot of work to do. The TT is, well, he has quite a bit of work to do, and in fact, we don't have a lot of the control systems that take authority away from him.
Right.
Our goal is to get ourselves data for feedback later and to keep the bike running properly while it's on the road. We're fortunate to work with Rob Barber, who is a very experienced electric racer and experienced in the TT, and we can come to him and say, hey Rob, you need to back off the throttle in this region, and you need to, you can give it all you want right here, but you got to watch this number on your screen and make sure that you're not going to be burning too hard here. And he can do it perfectly the first time. He astounds us in how intuitively he feels the bike and feels every part of the powertrain.
Yeah, wow, very cool. Well, guys, lots of luck. I'm anxious to see how you guys do this year, and let's move up from third to second, or even higher. That would be great.
We're going for first, obviously.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Great to meet you. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.